we decided that we wanted to be parents. We didn't know what that looked like or how we were going to get there.
I was 19. My girlfriend, Madison, she told me that she was pregnant. We sat there in silence for about 5 minutes after she told me, kind of aware of everything you need to bring a baby into this world. And we didn't have that, and we couldn't give that.
In Jackson's birthing, I had an amniotic fluid embolism. I died 3 times.
We were having to have pretty hard conversations about what are we going to do. The chances of going through that process and Mila coming out of it alive, it's 1 in a million.
We both knew, even before we started dating in college, that adoption was something that we both had a passion and a heart for.
The thing that really tugged at our heart and we just knew we were meant to do was special needs and medically complex adoption. The Cradle was the only agency that had that specific tract.
For more than 100 years, the Cradle has been building families through adoption, supporting families through life's challenges, and strengthening communities through education.
I was either the 7th or 8th baby adopted from the Cradle. I went to my family on Christmas Day, 1923. The Cradle became very important to me.
From our first walking through the doors, everybody here at the Cradle was very welcoming, very open to the questions we had, and I felt like, this is the right place.
When we made the choice that adoption was the best move, the last thing me and Madison wanted was to have this baby, then never see him again.
Obviously, the birth family is also going through a process and a loss. One of the things that attracted us to the Cradle was the education that the Cradle offers, both for birth parents as well as for adoptive parents.
They had a little panel of a mom, a dad, a little one, and the birth father was sitting there. And it was the first time I'd seen both sides of the story together, celebrating for that one little one.
I was afraid that if the birth family was involved, that my kids will not have the same love for me. But then seeing that interaction with those families kind of opened my eyes.
Our counselor, she had a lot of experience. She helped us pick the right parents. I was very thankful for her. Madison gave birth. The adoptive parents were also at the hospital too. We were sitting in the discharge. Our counselor, Meg, found us a quiet place, and she read us this speech, and it was kind of like a promise between both families about doing what's best for our son. We all just cried for about a good 20 minutes, and it was very tough.
Our caseworker, who was so incredibly supportive, and Josiah's birth mom's caseworker just guided us and counseled us so incredibly well.
Especially when Josiah got even more sick and required hospitalization for longer than we had thought. The Cradle came around us and made sure we were going to eat, we were going to be taken care of. Someday when Josiah's older and asking more questions about being adopted and where it comes from, I know the Cradle's going to be able to support us.
I reached down to the Cradle to find a little more about my birth mother. She was just a young lady. My father deserted her, and here she was with this big responsibility. It must have been very hard on her.
Adoption is not a moment in time. It's a lifelong journey. So it's really important that the Cradle is there to walk alongside folks to provide them the support that they need.
We still go to classes about the milestones and the challenges that Kayla may face as she continues to grow. We've continued to maintain our connection because our family wouldn't be what our family is without the role the Cradle played in our lives.
If my family hadn't reached out to the Cradle, my life would have been entirely different.
This is where they first felt love. To walk in here this morning, there's something in your heart that just feels like home.
As proud as we are about our first 100 years, we're even more excited about stepping into our next 100. We continue to learn and change in service of the children at the center of our work.
The Cradle puts people first.
They wrap their arms around you and cradle you through the process.
The Cradle helped us make a dream a reality.